Alright, so this is colored. This is colored. This is pretty cool. All of his being thrown stuff is colored. Look at that. And we had new Peacock and new Philia colors. And I added a follow-up to this thing. I'll try it again. There we go. Yeah, so I added a follow-up to this thing because you're spending all your meter anyway. Alright, there you go. So you can combo into it. Except for I screwed up the notes. Yay. It does a pretty good amount of damage. Gato color, other stuff. I'm going to go through other things that are not this before the stream crashes again. If it crashes again, we'll find out. Alright. So, as far as updates for this week go, the biggest one and probably the most important one is that I fixed a pretty stupid bug in the way that the frame skip code worked. So, online is now like 1,000 times better than it used to be on PC. If it used to be pretty good, now it's really good. People in Brazil were playing people in West Coast, etc. So if you were having lag problems online, or other people you know are having lag problems online, give it another try and see how absolutely amazing GGPO can be when I'm not an idiot. There is good and bad news as far as the console submission goes. So which one do you want first? Right? All right, everybody says they want the bad news first. So the bad news is we had to resubmit the PS3 version for a couple of reasons, one of them being that they changed the name of the PlayStation Network to the Sony Entertainment Network, but only in certain places, which meant that we had to change text that you see, which does require a full resubmission. So we did that in the middle of the week. It is still in testing. We will give you an exact date for when that is happening. The good news is, because we did a resubmission, the tweak that I made to online made it into console. So it will be slightly better than it would otherwise have been. I think I screwed something else up on console, so it's not amazing yet. But with the next update that we do after this, it will be back to or exceeding what it used to be. So yeah, I'm going to fully own up to the fact that I'm really bad at writing frame skip code. I think, oh, we've also submitted to Sony, not US. So Sony rest of the world that's not US and Japan, which means it will be in testing there also, and hopefully both versions will come out at the same time so that you people that bought the non-US version will also be able to do things like play the game. I think that about concludes it for updates this week, because most of it was taken up with fixing the stuff that they wanted us to fix and making sure that it all worked, and then fixing the frame skip. Yeah, so there you go. As far as I know, there won't be anything wrong with this submission build, so start counting your 2 weeks again. Oh, the really fun part about the Sony Entertainment Network thing was most of their sites still refer to it as the PlayStation Network login. So we asked them about that, and they said, yes, we are in the process of changing it everywhere else. But I guess it needed to get changed. So there you go. That's the news. And that's how console development goes, because as soon as I made that fix on Steam, it was in and it was fixed. And now back to your regularly scheduled people playing the game. Here you go. Say something else. This is important. This is for everybody that's here. This actually has nothing to do with Skullgirls. So, in fact, I'm going to see if the webcam works. Wow, it does. Wow, that was... Yes. For those of you who wanted to see what my nose looks like, that you can go watch this stream archive. That was pretty great. All right. So, I guess I want to say this to everybody here. Do you all know about what happened with net neutrality this week?
Yes.
Okay. The educated of you know, the uneducated of you probably still know, but don't know that you know. Hey, you shits! I'll kick you out. All right. So net neutrality. The really quick summary is this: net neutrality is a poorly, overly technical name for something that you all take for granted, which is the ability to access any website you want. So you know how in China they have censors on the internet, and if you try to go to the whitehouse.gov site or even the whitehouse.com site or the Pornhub site or anything else, their censors will say, I'm sorry, you can't actually go to that website. You don't get it. So in the US, there are these things in between you and the internet called your ISPs, which are companies like Time Warner and Verizon and AT&T and all of the smaller companies that are the ones that you actually pay for internet access. When you say, I want to go to google.com, you send them a packet and they send it to Google, and then Google sends you information back and they send it back to you. Net neutrality was a thing that says ISPs must treat all traffic as equal. If I ask for google.com, they can't delay that request or block that request. If I ask for Pornhub, they can't delay or block that request. If I ask for CNBC, it's a valid example, dang it. If I ask for CNBC, they can't delay or block that request. That basically got struck down this week, which means since there are no limits to human greed, your ISP, who charges you money for being able to go on the internet, and actually exorbitant amounts of money, and for which there are usually no alternatives. If you live, like in my apartment, I have one choice for my internet service provider. They can now decide that they would like Netflix, for example, to pay them a monthly fee in order for people on their ISP to be able to access Netflix. They can stop or change the amount of priority that traffic gets for any reason or no reason. If the CEO of Time Warner decided he suddenly didn't like Britain and he didn't want anybody on Time Warner to be able to get to any British website, they could block that if they wanted to. And remember, this is how monopolies work. The last monopoly that got broken up was the Ma Bell AT&T monopoly in the 60s, and this is the next one. So basically what this means is you are paying those ISPs who now can decide that for no reason they want to block any content that they don't want you to see because they want to get paid by Facebook and they didn't, because they don't want you to watch competitor sites. Time Warner could totally block like MTV.com or anything that they don't own. Comcast, which owns NBC, could block anything else that they want. This is a very bad situation because the companies are not classified as common carriers, which is the thing that the FCC can actually regulate. Now, the FCC can change the classification of these companies to be common carriers, and there are a bunch of petitions everywhere that indicate that, or that, allow you to indicate to people that they should do this. The ISPs were initially not classified as common carriers because the head of the FCC decided they shouldn't be. He later on went to become one of the largest advocates of cable companies in the world. Or one of their chief advocates in the US anyway. Sorry, I'm extemporaneous speeches, yay. So basically, they could even do this to Microsoft. If you want to play a game online, they could decide that they don't want to give your traffic any priority because Microsoft didn't pay them their fees. So if you bought an Xbone game that requires DRM, you might not be able to use it if you're on a certain ISP. The loss of this oversight means anything can happen. Anything you can think of, any reason that they would deny your traffic or slow your traffic down or give someone else a priority, they can now do. Some companies have pledged that they won't do this until 2018. Most have not. So there's a petition on whitehouse.gov if you would like to sign that one. There are other ones that you can find and look for. Write to your local congressperson. If you are currently on the internet and you enjoy features like, I don't know, Pixiv or Facebook or Netflix, and you enjoy not paying a huge amount of money, because another thing that they can now do, which has not been mentioned anywhere, is charge you different amounts as a consumer to allow you to view different sites. So, because they can do anything they want now. And this is different from like YouTube saying, I'm sorry, your content is blocked in this other country, right? Like if you access a video from Australia, YouTube can say, I'm sorry, you're not allowed to view it in Australia. What that means is your computer was allowed to talk to YouTube and YouTube decided they didn't want you to see it. That is very different from your computer not being allowed to talk to YouTube at all, which is what this basically means. So now ISPs can do something like, instead of just charging you for a different bandwidth, right, for 10 megs down or 50 megs down or 2 megs up or whatever for more money, they can now charge you more money for allowing you to get Netflix if they want to, or allowing you to view YouTube. There is no longer any regulation. There needs to be. This is a big issue. So although net neutrality sounds like some sort of thing that you don't care about because it's politics related, it can very seriously affect you. I'm done with my soapbox now, but everyone, I mean, if you're watching this stream, you're on the internet. If you're on the internet, you should care. This is a really big deal. So, I would normally never say this because, like, whenever anybody says write to your local congressman, like, no one cares. No one actually does that. But seriously, if you are on the internet, you need to tell your state representatives and your senators and your congresspeople that you give a crap.
Hey, you guys, hang on.
Wing Zero, unfortunately, does not give a crap. So he can pay extra for his Netflix. No, this is a really big deal. If you're watching this, if you're on the internet, if you're a member of the FGC and you like playing fighting games online, you should care. I'm done.
Okay, now you can make noise.
Of course, in case you cared, this is only in the US, but a lot of other countries look to US as a policyholder for stuff like this. So even if it doesn't affect your country, it may eventually. So, yes, Jon Stewart should cover this story on The Daily Show. Everywhere should cover this story on everywhere. Net neutrality is one of the biggest problems facing anyone who does anything online in the US. More stuff. What's the status on the Xbox 360 patch? It has not yet been submitted because I am waiting for information that allows me to do that. I mean, it works on Xbox, but I'm waiting to be told who to give it to, basically.